Warning, this video does not contain bare-breasted sex on top of a kitchen table. However, it does contain views and opinions that may not sync up with modern-day feminists. So if you are a feminist that gets offended easily, this is gonna be like the rape porn of YouTube. Thanks, sweethearts. KevinTThoms. So in the last week, all of you have come to me at one point or another, all of you have come to me at one point and asked, Kevin, how can I be a better feminist? Kevin, how can I be a feminist at all? And you came to the right place because I am the world's top expert on feminism. And the answer to those questions is you can't. You can't be a feminist, not unless you know where you stand. So we're gonna delve into a brief history on feminism, Kevin's version of feminism. And since I know that this video is gonna be quoted as contributing to rape culture no matter what I say, I'm just gonna say all the horrible shit that you're gonna attribute to me saying anyway. You ready? Let's go. So when we think of feminism, what do we think of? Well, you have first wave feminism, which was around in the 1800s and early 1900s. That focused on equal rights for women in a time where there were actually just like no rights for women at all. This included things like women's suffrage, which was simply the right to vote for women. In 1920, in the US at least, they got the right to vote. In the UK, it wasn't until 1928 that all women over the age of 21 got the right to vote. In Canada? Well, who gives a shit about Canada? Actually, there's kind of an interesting part to that. You see, in Canada, they did it by province and territory. And by 1922, women had the right to vote in all the provinces and territories. Except for Quebec, where it wasn't until 1940. So if women should hate anyone, they should hate the French Canadians, just like the rest of the fucking world does. Am I missing any of the important countries? Australia. You see, in Australia, they were just full of convicted felons at that time anyway, and convicted felons can't vote. Now, during this era, women weren't happy with just the right to vote. They did that whole thing where a man's driving down the road and a woman goes, "Oh look, McDonald's." And the man goes, "Oh, do you want me to stop there?" And she goes, "No, I'm fine." And the man goes, "Are you fine?" And she says, "Yeah, I just said I'm fine. Okay, I'm not hungry anymore." And the man goes, "Okay, shit." And he drives home, and then for the rest of the night, she's fucking pissed off at him, and he doesn't know why. And then finally she says, "You know, you could have got me something to eat." And he's like, "Well, I'm not a fucking mind reader. If you wanted something from McDonald's, you should have just fucking said something when we were out, or when we were right fucking there." And she's like, "It's not about that. I shouldn't have to ask. You don't love me." So women started to campaign for sexual rights, reproductive rights, economic rights, property rights, marriage rights, etc. You get the point. Pretty much to sum it up, women did what they did best. They just nagged and nagged and fucking nagged. And finally the men were like, "Shit, okay. You can paint the bedroom yellow if you want. I don't even fucking care anymore. Paint it whatever color you want." And the women were kind of happy with this, but they weren't completely happy, so they started to withhold sex. And the men were like, "Fuck, okay, honey, you can have all those other things too. Have whatever you want." You see, I like to say I'm old-fashioned, and women are like, "Oh, that's sweet." What I mean is, though, is I'm old-fashioned in the sense of the 1800s, because I don't think women should have got the right to vote at all. It was the single worst thing this country ever did next to ending slavery. I'm kidding. It's Black History Month, and it wouldn't be complete if I didn't remind white people of slavery, because you should feel bad during this month. So, fuck you, white people. But I digress. You see, during the wars, the women ran the country, and they did a great fucking job. Men could have done it better, but we were too busy starting wars and shit. You know, manly stuff. Then came the 1960s. Woo! Second wave feminism coming at ya. And nothing screams feminism better than tie-dye shirts, STDs, and poor personal hygiene. Story time! You see, when I lived in Spain, I lived off the desert in a hippie commune, and they were always like, brah, you should so totally grow out your hair, brah, and you should braid that shit. And I said, I would, but I'm not a fucking degenerate. And they'd be like, bro, you're such a fucking hippie, bro. You don't even know it. And then I provided them with evidence with the fact that I bathed regularly. And if I did have hair, I would wash that shit. You see, all the men and all the women there were feminists. It's where I got my education. And all the women were so fucking hairy. Because nothing says a strong, independent woman better than a nice, hairy snatch. And God, I loved it there. You know what else I love? Fucking dry roasted, lightly salted peanuts. Anyway, second wave feminism. The marital exemption in rape laws was abolished, which means that men could no longer legally rape their wives. But let's be honest, if you're a man and you have to rape your wife, and it's not just part of some fun, kinky role-playing, then clearly she was much too opinionated in the first place to get married to. That's your fault. Birth control pills were approved by the FDA. Educational Equality Acts, Credit Equality Acts, abortion is legalized. Again, it was the French who were assholes. It wasn't until 1965 that women were allowed the right to work without their husband's permission. The French are so fucking romantic. See, second wave feminism was concerned with ending gender discrimination. And up until now, women had a point to what they were doing with the feminist movement. But someone always has to come along and fuck it up. Bring in third wave feminism. Now these feminists didn't have a war to compete with or women's suffrage. Instead they started fighting amongst themselves. Women who hate women. And they all started breaking up into all these little groups. You have the liberal feminists, the radical feminists, conservative feminists, libertarian feminists, separatist feminists, eco-feminists, Marxist feminists, socialist feminists, anarcho-feminists, lipstick feminists, third world feminists, indigenous feminists, post-colonial feminists, post-structural feminists, and other little groups that don't even have names yet. So it's kind of like Pokemon in the sense that you just want to catch them all, but you can't, because you'll be accused of rape if you do. So you want to be a feminist, huh? But you don't know which group to be a part of. It's kind of hard to decide, isn't it? There's just so many good ones to pick from. You seem confused. Don't worry, so are we. As a matter of fact, we have no fucking idea what any of these people are talking about at any given time. But it makes sense, because I don't think I've ever known what a woman was talking about in my entire life. I know that some of them want to destroy the patriarchy, which is the male-dominated society.
If you shut the fuck up and let me read my list, there's the fucking proof.
And so I obviously can't like.
So, number one, shut the fuck up for a second. Feminists do not want you to lose custody of your children. The assumption that women are naturally better caregivers is part of patriarchy.
God, she's so fucking hot. But then some feminists come out and say to be a separatist is to be anti-male, and they don't support that, because not all feminists are evil, and not all feminists hate men. Some of them actually stand for legitimate change. The biggest one being the fact that they changed the color of our kitchen tile. Way to go. I mean, why would you be part of a group that inherently segregates a gender? Why not just say that you're an egalitarian? Why not just say that you're a humanist that believes in equality for all? Is it not possible to believe in freedom for everybody? Oh, well, the feminists believe in freedom for everybody. No, you don't. Not these new modern day feminists. 35% of the homeless population is female. Now what's a problem? What about homelessness being a problem in general? I mean, fuck that. And unless you're a minority, have a vagina, and agree with everything they have to say, you can't be a part, and you don't believe in true change and true freedom. And the problem with modern day feminists, the ones you see saying stupid shit all over the internet, if you tell them you believe in equality for all, they'll say this: you don't believe in equality, only feminists believe in equality, and you must hate everybody that's different than you. That's right, if you have a penis, you are part of the patriarchy, and you are a privileged asshole. And if you're a woman who doesn't agree with what they have to say, or maybe have a lifestyle that differs from what they believe in, well, you're part of the patriarchy too, and you are a fucking enemy. That's right, women must hate women. They must hate themselves because they don't agree with the feminist agenda. You see, I'm a man, and I'm an asshole. Complete asshole. But just just because I'm an asshole doesn't mean that I don't believe in equality. But they see me, they see the white skin, they see the male features. Well, he must be a potential rapist. We need to educate him. That's what they have to do. That's their agenda. So if they want to paint me as the enemy, then that's what I'll fucking be, because I don't mind being the villain. I really don't. Because I have nothing left to lose anymore. It's all gone. And the reason why I broke these up into segments is because when they flag the fuck out of the next video, that's right, all the faggots are gonna come out in full force and they're gonna flag it and probably get it removed. At least maybe this one might be able to stay up, or the one after that. Who fucking knows? Also, I want you to think of a caption for this picture. Now, I'm gonna see you guys in a few days, and it's gonna be so much worse than this video. Just be prepared for it to be removed very, very quickly. Love you! The thing is, I fucking love women, I really do. So this joke is geared to the feminists. What do you get when you mix a group of men and a group of feminists? A bunch of rape claims. Call!